Greetings friends, I am Obsidian. Earlier today, Dom Studio released episode 30 of the SKIBIDI multiverse, and we can definitely say that this was the best episode in the entire history of the series ever, because we were treated to some of the best action and some absolutely legendary scenes. We also got the return of a very important character after so long, and I am sure that I speak for everyone when I say everyone in the community was excited about this, including our script writers and editor. But before we get into today's video, make sure you subscribe to me so you don't miss future analysis and theory videos from me. Also, give my video a like as it will help me. Let's begin. The scene begins from where we last left off, where the counter-titan has begun to drill into Titan TV Man's core, but suddenly, the scene changes to one where we see Titan cameraman kneeling, who is now watching on at the scene. We see his camera lens go red, and we all know what this means. We have previously seen this happen in episodes 14 and 19 part 2. I had assumed before that Titan cameraman only goes into rage mode after his lens gets removed, as some sort of defense mechanism, but I guess that is debunked now, because it seems like he goes into rage mode whenever he wants. So now Titan cameraman starts to fire up his jetpack turbines and flies over to where the counter-titan and Titan TV man are. Titan cameraman rams into counter-titan and he punches him. And this is where the counter-titan struggles, because he probably wasn't banking on the rage of Titan cameraman suddenly happening, but he tries to fight back to the best of his ability, even removing one of Titan cameraman's jet turbines and hitting him with it, but to no avail. As Titan cameraman flies him and counter-titan higher into the sky like he did with the Pennywise toilet in episode 19, the counter-titan has brought his trusty surfboard out and has stepped onto it, stopping Titan cameraman from flying him up more, and he continues to fight against Titan cameraman. The counter-titan then tries to use a blast against him, but Titan cameraman counters this with his gravity gun, and the blast hits the counter-titan instead, surprising him in the process. The fight continues, where Titan cameraman has the upper hand, and he soon grabs a hold of the counter-titan with his gravity gun, sending him down to the ground with a thud. The scene changes, and we see injured Titan TV man on the ground, watching the battle while on the floor and can't do much. We go back to Titan cameraman, and the counter-titan once again, where Titan cameraman keeps punching him, until the counter-titan stops him, and then stabs him in the chest. As we all know, a similar scene was seen in episode 57 part 2 of the original series where a SKIBIDI stabbed Titan cameraman, but we all know how that went. Counter-Titan keeps on stabbing him, but it's not having any desired effect, and soon Titan cameraman has grabbed the head of the Counter-Titan and twisted it at an angle with his gravity gun. We see the scene change once again, as Counter-Titan is unable to get up, but he looks up to see Titan TV man's sword teleporting over his head, and in one swift motion, cuts it clean off. As both the Titans are looking at each other and thinking this is the end, the body and head of Counter-Titan rise up and put his head on backwards until it is turned all the way round to face both the Titans, with which Titan cameraman has now taken a step back in shock. Titan TV man gives Titan cameraman his sword, which he grabs with his gravity gun and begins to look at the Counter-Titan. Suddenly the evil witch Alpha appears on screen as she mocks the Titans by saying, "Oh, what an epic fail. I'm impressed. Now can you die? We have an Earth to conquer." The scene changes back to Titan cameraman, who doesn't know what to do here and begins to shake his head, or he shakes his head to Alpha's demand, disagreeing to her desires, but he looks back at the Counter-Titan, who we are now looking at once again. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, the Counter-Titan is stabbed through the chest with a giant golden sword, and here we see the scene change to Titan TV man and to Titan cameraman looking surprised, and then the scene changes once again to Alpha, dashing toward the edge of the building to see who has just attacked her Counter-Titan. The golden sword causes an explosion in the Counter-Titan's core, and it begins to drag the Counter-Titan into the air like he's nothing. Titan cameraman and Titan TV man have no idea what has just happened, when we are met with the incredibly epic return of the Titan CLOCKMAN. Titan CLOCKMAN begins to chime as he walks into the scene like an absolute Chad, which completely shocks the hell out of Alpha. The scene changes back to Titan CLOCKMAN, where he's stomping along, and then we see more of him and the Counter-Titan on his sword, staring at Alpha. Upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN throws the Counter-Titan off his sword and watches as he lands with a hard thud. Upgraded. Titan CLOCKMAN holds his sword out at the fallen counter, Titan most likely challenging him, as the scene goes back to Alpha, who looks very worried and begins to shout, "No, no, 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 no!" She turns to where Counter Titan is and tells him, "Counter, activate your rage mod, now." Which means that the Counter Titan has a rage mode just like Titan Cameraman, which is interesting. The Counter Titan begins to activate the mod, which makes him enraged, and goes to charge after the upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN, who is just standing there watching as the Counter Titan is coming towards him. The scene changes once again, and we see Alpha upon the building, where she begins to laugh and says, "Yes, doesn't matter how many times you try, the counter will always." But her speech is cut off when she hears a chime and the familiar time-stop sound effect from the JoJo's anime behind her, gasping as she hears it. Alpha turns around to discover that upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN is now behind her, and we now go back to the Counter Titan, who thinks he's just gotten to upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN, but is met with confusion. The Counter Titan turns round and sees upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN behind him now, who nods his head to the side, and we go back to see the Counter Titan, who has now been slashed into pieces. His body falls to the ground, with his torso falling next to the feet of upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN, who now stabs through his core with his sword. The scene changes back to Alpha, who begins to turn around, but is hit by a car that Titan Cameraman has thrown at her with his gravity gun, exploding the area she was standing at and knocking her off in the process, but upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN grabs her before she can hit the floor. Upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN begins to stare at her like she's a bug, which is funny in a way because of the Counter Titan also being a bug since it's a spider. We see Alpha again, who's holding her side, which means that she got injured slightly, and she begins to tell upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN, "My master will make you pay. You have no idea who you're messing with." Suddenly the scene changes, and we can see a full view of upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN, who has just opened up what looks to be a portal around him, and we begin to see the likes of Chief CLOCKMAN, the Chad Drillman, and the other Drillman who died in episode 23, one of the most heartbreaking episodes to date. Basically, we see all of the allies that were murdered by Alpha, whether it was indirectly or directly. All of their spirits are golden, and if you didn't know, this is a reference once again to the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime, where the main characters see their dead allies as golden ghosts rising up to the sky. Then, it fuels them to defeat the bigger evil. For example, JoJo's spoilers ahead, by the way, but in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5 Golden Wind, one of the main characters named Bruno Bucciarati sacrificed himself to save Giorno Giovanna, who is the main character, and then Giorno saw his spirit in the sky, and it was golden, but his spirit and his speech gave Giorno the motivation to be the right user for the stand arrow, allowing him to be the bearer of it and his stand to transform Golden Experience Requiem, allowing him the ability and the means to defeat the greater evil, who was Diavolo in that case, putting him in an infinite death loop. So, here I'm getting similar vibes, because upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN is being fueled by all his allies that died to fight and end the greater evil. The symbolism is quite the emotional one at that, and this scene was the most incredible scene of all of them to date. While the ghosts of my beloved Chief and the Drillman are around her, Alpha cannot speak since she is obviously in shock, since she can see those ghosts. We come back to the view of upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN and Alpha, who is about to accept what is coming next, and we hear upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN say, "Bow to your end." This was a goosebump moment and one scene we will not forget in quite some time. Alpha closes her eyes, accepting her fate being sealed, as upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN closes his hand and squishes her. Justice at last. Alpha is very much dead, which means we got revenge for our fallen brothers. Also, Dom Studio confirmed that she is indeed dead, as shown in this screenshot here under Hot Sauce Beats' reaction to this episode. It also shows that we'll be continuing the plot of episode 28, which is cool. Anyway, upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN looks towards the Titans, and the scene changes to Titan TV Man, who has just put his thumbs up to the other Titan, but suddenly, the light of his TV goes out, which means that he died in that moment, which makes Titan Cameraman try to comfort him, and then look towards upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN as if asking him for help. Upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN then walks over to them and begins to reverse time to bring back Titan TV Man and revert him back to his upgraded state. Titan Cameraman looks over at upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN after what he has just witnessed and back to his friend, as if he is asking, "How did you do that?" He is in no doubt happy to see that Titan TV Man is alive and well again, but that doesn't last for long. as the Titans hear something and look back to see multiple purple orbs forming out of nowhere, which suggests that this is the last trick of the Counter-Titan. Upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN is now with the other Titans, as he too begins to watch the purple orbs form, which become weapons of the Titans that they all currently possess. Before any of those weapons can attack, upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN has stopped time, where he looks to the other two Titans, and then begins to use his sword and form a cross, and then an arc around it, which becomes a powerful strike. Just like how you would see in animes like Demon Slayer, for example. The special created circle strikes through the Counter-Titan's weapons, and they all explode, and then the time stop ends and everything goes back to normal. We see the Titans once again, where Titan TV Man's watch has just blown up, making him stare at it, and wondering why it just exploded out of nowhere. Maybe the Alliance will all need new and upgraded watches to be able to move in the time stop from now on, as upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN's energy seems like too much for the old watches to handle. The Titans all start to look at one another, until Titan TV Man says boring and disappears out of sight. I'm guessing that he's salty that he wasn't the one to ultimately defeat the Counter-Titan, and I guess that bro doesn't like jokes. We go back to upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN and Titan Cameraman, where we see upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN reverse time once more, and it brings back the laser weapon of Titan Cameraman, as well as probably healing his stab wound and his broken jet turbine. Titan Cameraman looks on at upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN. He does the thumbs up with his hand, and then upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN does the OK sign with his hand, and then flies off, leaving upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN on his own to stare up at Big Ben before he too flies off, leaving the scene. I'm guessing that the other Titans are now going to get other upgrades in order to become stronger than they were here. As we watch the scene continue, we see that Big Ben chimes, and the screen goes black. And this is where we think the episode ends, but it continues. We now see a night shot of London, and Big Ben still standing in the background. The scene moves and we look at the ground, where the Counter-Titan's core is glowing, but then the light goes out. A creepy purple spider crawls out, which ends the scene there. Could that be some sort of host parasite that would bring back the Counter-Titan at some point? Or make someone else have the Counter-Titan's role? This was one hell of an episode. We had so much action and excitement, especially with the return of Titan CLOCKMAN. But I do have some other questions about that spider who crawled out of the Counter-Titan's core at the end of the episode. Could this spider possibly be the multiverse's answer to a SKIBIDI infection? It could likely be searching for the next host to infect, which perhaps could be the Master of Alpha. Like I said recently, I still feel as though G-Man is Alpha's master and relative, and it would make sense if the spider was to infect him. He would become the next Counter-Titan that the Titans have to deal with. Or maybe, since we haven't seen G-Man toilet in a while, maybe he's the one who will become infected by it, because if Alpha's master is G-Man himself, then the spider would want to host someone who is familiar to him, and G-Man Toilet might be the one. He's always been the main antagonist and main villain of the SKIBIDI Toilet series, so with his ongoing upgrade and the bonus abilities of this spider, he may become the next Counter-Titan and pose a bigger threat, even against upgraded Titan CLOCKMAN. I do have one more candidate, however. It could also be Titan Drillman that turns out to be the host, since he's already on the evil side, and this could be Alpha's way of still having him under their control, even with her and the Counter-Titan no longer being there. Which would then make Titan Drillman the next Counter-Titan. So far, my candidate to be hosted by this spider is the Master, who I believe is G-Man himself, G-Man Toilet, G-Toilet, or Titan Drillman. However, we'll see. Only time will tell. But what do you think, friends? Did you enjoy this legendary episode today? And if you have any theories, write them in the comments. They are always welcome. Also, I have a Discord. You are welcome to join, where you will see leaks when I get them and can chat to the wonderful community I have built. Thank you for watching my video. I was Obsidian. And until next time, my friends,